Well, back to my regular videos tonight. Today, an interesting article by Michael Rechtenwald over at Op-Ed News. This is an abbreviated, a much abbreviated version. It's a very long article, and as usual, I'll try to post a link to it once I'm done uploading this video. So here's what he has to say. I'm disgusted with liberal politics as usual, with the self-congratulations, the self-gratification, the feeling of moral and intellectual superiority voiced by liberal pundits and their predictable, patent, self-important, arrogant, and superior-feeling followers. Is it enough to be happy that people are throwing shoes at Bush? Have they forgotten that the entire capitalist system is on the brink of collapse? Do they not wonder in disgust at their liberal democratic heroes that work like mad to save the ship from sinking? Shouldn't they wonder why such repairs as they recommend come solely at the expense of working people like themselves? Shouldn't the conclusions of leadership be more drastic? Liberalism as it stands has no answers. No answer for the disaster that faces us. Even Barack Obama stated that the usual list of remedies for liberal economic reform is just about spent. Liberalism has nothing left, or next to nothing, it seems. As long as the correct attitudes are expressed, they believe all is well. As long as the identity of the president and the composition of Congress are changed, all is fine. No matter that people are losing their jobs by the thousands, that the same people losing their jobs are paying capitalists to fix the problem, to fix this economy, that the workers in the auto industry will be taken back to pre-union standards and nothing will be done for them other than to watch them get screwed again. No, just as long as the right attitudes are in play, then all is well. Everyone is relieved because Bush has had a shoe thrown at him, and things are changing soon. Or so they think. So we can all go back home and forget about politics for a while. Meanwhile, these remedies for the workers and the economy at large are being inaugurated at the by the very liberal Democrats that everyone elected to change things. Oh, there will be changes. Changes in attitude towards the poor, but not the end of poverty. Changes in attitude towards identity groups, but not material changes in their lives. Changes in how people are referred to, but not changes in the quality of their lives, other than the sacrifices they will be expected to make in the future. What sacrifices will Wall Street moguls be expected to make? Nothing. Notice how big finance was bailed out without a hitch? Big finance that produces nothing. I'm sorry to have to say this, but since no one else is saying it, I guess it must be up to me. The Democrats have been brought in for one reason and one reason only. They are there to soften the blow, to deliver the bad news, to deliver the bad news in milder tones, from a different identity standpoint, so that it's more acceptable to tell more people in milder tones that they're out of luck. The bad news will simply have a different, more unlikely, and thus more acceptable bearer, one that didn't enslave them or lead them to war. Or so we think. Liberalism just wants everyone to feel better about things, to feel that things are better because, hey, now we have a black president. That makes every liberal feel better. I'm not a liberal, but even I feel better. I'm a Marxist, which is not liberal, left, or right-wing, the author states. But I don't want to feel better. That is, I don't want to feel better about things as they are. I want things to actually be better. As Marx wrote about Hegel and his followers, they believed that change meant merely changing the consciousness of the oppressed. Liberals today, the young Hegel followers, are about the same thing. They're not about changing the conditions that oppress people. Economic reform is impossible under these conditions today because capitalism is failing. Capitalism cannot offer concessions or reforms. That's what liberalism was generally good for. So what is it good for now? Instead of positive reform, the likes of FDR, the self-proclaimed best friend of capitalism, ushered in, liberalism will now do the workers the favor by offering more concessions in their name. Thanks. Thanks for keeping afloat the system that oppresses us all. Thanks for bailing out a system using our tax money, our public funds, our wages, to screw us over even further. Thanks for saving a system that will serve to cut our wages, destroy whatever savings we may have by chance accrued, gut our retirement plans and packages, and decimate our healthcare system once and for all. Thanks. Yesterday's New Deal is today's Raw Deal. Here is what will happen. A fleeting era of good feelings and feel-good politics aimed at making everyone feel equal. De facto, some people will be equally dispossessed and a smaller number will be equally disconnected from the dispossessed. But this feel-good moment will be very short-lived because it will be outlasted by the economic disaster to follow. This brings me to Marx's famous pronouncement about religion, which is so poorly understood. Never did Marx condemn people for being religious. Such a condemnation is the antithesis to a truly humanistic understanding of religion. Denigration of religion is a denigration of people, period, and thus anti-humanistic as a whole. Unlike snobs who smugly denigrate religious people, Marx never condemned people for being religious. What Marx does condemn are the conditions of a society that make religion necessary. Religious suffering is at the same time an expression of real suffering and a protest against real suffering. Religion is the sign of the oppressed creature, the sentiment of a heartless world, and the soul of a heartless condition. Religion exists as it does because people are oppressed, because hope for a future, for goodness in some other realm, in some other order of being, for freedom from oppression, is all that they have. Religion is a displacement of equity, prosperity, and justice into the realm outside of the humans, because the human realm tends to lack such qualities. To denigrate religion is to denigrate human desire for all that religion displaces. But the fact that people can imagine such goodness and such justice testifies to the fact that human society can be all that it lacks. As such, the existence of religion disproves the cynics who claim that human nature simply involves selfishness, nastiness, competitive individualism, and so forth. Likewise, a true humanist doesn't work hard to eradicate religion. A true humanist works to eradicate the conditions that make religion a necessity. That's it for tonight. Thanks for listening.